Solana's down. What you want from me? I don't know what to tell you.
Someone's blowing up the spot.
Yeah, that's how you know I'm really in the trenches like this, okay? How many people got holes in their socks like this, okay? Solana's down. I'm not getting new socks till Solana's back over 200.
Were you scared last night at all?
I don't know about scared is not the word. It's just
I got scared for a second.
I don't enjoy those days.
I was not bitching. I was down to be down. And then I saw like the 115,
The 110's crazy.
110 thing. I was like,
110's crazy.
oh my God. I went to bed last night going, I pray to God I don't wake up and it's 93.
Yes, I went to bed and I drank a beer. A beer was needed. I was like, I need that. And then I was like, you know what? I need an edible on top of that. So then I took an edible on top of that. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to wake up and see where we're at. When I woke up, we went far lower than when I went to bed, but also we shot up after that. So I was like, all right.
Yeah, it was brutal. Thank God you weren't awake for that. I was. It was not cool.
Yeah,
but it wasn't like your average like dumps and then bounces. It was like, dude, it was like dangerous.
Oh, I know.
We were in CVS getting a yerba and watched it in real time go from 129 to like 119.
Well, that I was awake for, and yeah, not fun. I mean, here's the thing. Generational wealth is not easy to obtain. I mean, we talk about it, right? We talk about like you want big bags, you want this, you want that. Like days like yesterday scare the shit out of you, but at the same time, like you kind of need it. And honestly, I kind of felt like we were due for one. It's never good when I start seeing people that aren't crypto people talking about the market. That's when I get a little scared. And last night I saw Big Cat from Barstool tweeted out like, "What's up with the stock market? Are we fucked?" And then I saw like another Twitter personality who knows nothing about any of this world tweeted out like, "Someone explained the stock market to me," and I was like, okay, this is now infiltrated like people who have nothing to do with our world.
What's
that's nerve wracking.
That's what it is.
But she's even slow, like sort of kind of in our world.
Sure.
But I'm talking people who have nothing to do with crypto, who hold nothing, who are like, what's happening right now? That's when I get nervous.
Like an Adam Sandler or some shit.
No, but that's
tweeting about crypto,
this is the
bro.
dip we needed because this is the dip we needed.
Well,
this was it. This was the. Everyone was like, "Oh, we need a pullback. We need to sell off."
Can you knock on wood though when we say that? Like this is it.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
I think that was.
People were calling it a black swan.
Yeah, we needed that, and it wasn't really that because there was no like COVID or housing crisis. It just got a little fucked, but this was perfect time.
Yeah, it is what it is. Let's avoid World War III. Let's avoid. Japan. Relax. I'm not eating sushi until Japan lowers their interest rates. Yeah.
I'm
not doing it in general, but sure, I'll try.
You don't like sushi?
I hate
do.
Sushi.
I do when it's a good spot, but I know going to a good spot's like $1,000.
$1,000? Yeah, thank you, Colton.
Yeah, you'll also find tapeworms in your shit. So, good luck.
Oh, you can get that with American grocery stores nowadays. Anyway.
Yeah, but I would never do that. I'm only going to where it's like.
Listen, chicken's expensive nowadays.
They flew that shit in from Japan this morning. Not being bougie, but like I'm just saying.
All I want to say is that I've gotten food poisoning from Subway 6 times.
Okay, stop eating at Subway.
That's all I want to say.
We stopped going. Right. We stopped going there when Jared got canceled. Okay. He did something wrong, so we're not going to make jokes on that. But anywho, welcome back to the podcast.
Yeah.
How's it going, boys?
It's good to be back.
Good to be back.
Yeah. I'm glad to have you guys here. I'm excited. I feel like everywhere I look right now, it's just SuperBased this, SuperBased that. It's good times.
Feels good.
What a week to have an NFT mint, huh?
I actually made that tweet yesterday. I was like, dude, you can't make this shit up, bro.
No, terrible time.
There's no perfect time.
No.
Let's be real.
Honestly, this is, if you really think about it.
Yeah. Storyline.
I couldn't have wished for anything better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you survive times like this, again,
because we get attached to it.
Yeah.
Now we're attached to the storyline.
Yeah.
Now this is concrete. Now everyone's like, dude, remember that 1 week when everything crashed and SuperBased was winning on Solana?
Exactly. It's etched in time.
There is something about being in the trenches together that really does bond people, and I think people overlook that sometimes. Of like, that's my favorite aspect of the NFT space, crypto space in general. Is like, I was in the crypto space since 2016. We did not have the bonding aspect in 2016 to 2020. Once NFTs came around, all of a sudden people started having their like little digital families and whatnot. Now you really, really bond together. So it's like when you go through times like yesterday, it's like you don't feel alone as much, and so then, I mean, in like 2020 when we crashed during COVID, it was like there wasn't really anybody for you to talk about crypto crashing with outside of maybe like your super close homies who may be involved in crypto, right? But yesterday, it was like, dude, I felt like I was in the trenches with everybody Though I will say at certain times you're like, man, when everybody's doom posting, you're like, maybe we're fucked. But then when we rise up together, it is fun to have the whole squad in the trenches rising up together.
Yeah, I think honestly, we couldn't have asked for anything better because I think SuperBased, we talked about this.
Yep.
Not only were we doing an NFT, which was not recommended
by everybody,
and we're not saying that in any certain way, but like it was obvious to a lot of people that were like, oh, okay, don't do an NFT. NFTs are not the thing to do. That's silly. And then this happens, and we survived both and thrived through both. And it's kind of like almost, again, that's why we always say Solana is SuperBased, SuperBased is Solana. That's what makes Solana so special. It's good stress tested. It's stress tested by FTX. It's stress tested by Ethereum. It's stress tested by every competitor from Polygon to Sui. And Solana survives. And Solana just thrives through all the ups and downs. And I think that's what makes good brands and good companies. And we survived our first one with flying colors. Yep. And the Solana ecosystem stood on business with us.
100%.
Pretty fucking sweet, dude.
100%. I look at it.
This is where legends
are made.
How to do that?
I look at it like when people talk about NFTs right now and stuff like that, NFTs are gonna sound dead until they're not. And I look at that almost similar to where Bonk was in January 2023, where people weren't really expecting Bonk to do what it did. People weren't expecting meme coins to do what it did. We have the full capability in 2023 to be in meme coin mania like we are now, but we didn't. Somebody had to start it. Bonk started it, right?
Yep.
And so the way I look at it is, right now, people are like, NFTs are dead, NFTs are dead. But if somebody was to put a gun to my head and go, well, why do you believe then in SuperBased? Well, it's because I believe in you two, right? And I believe in everybody else that's behind the scenes. People like Colton, people like, all the different people that you guys are working with on a regular basis, everything like that, because I've seen all the different things that you've done. I've been able to see Jakey's journey I remember the first time I watched one of his mime videos, and I'm like, this guy is fucking hilarious and crazy and is willing to do anything it takes to succeed. I like people like that. Then Steve, it was like, I started chatting with Steve, and he was like, oh yeah, I started Shagmac. I was like, holy shit. Like, I've know plenty of people who have been in that. That's crazy. That's super successful. Then he's like, oh, by the way, you follow my brother. I was like, who's your brother? He mentions Gavin. I'm like, holy shit, I'm a huge fan of his content. I'm a big sports gambling guy. He kills it in that market. Steve has mentioned probably 50 other people to me at some point that he's like, oh, I'm involved with this person in this way or this person. And I'm like, okay, so in that regard, why would you ever fade the two of you guys? And that's how I look at it. So right now, are NFTs the hot thing? Absolutely the fuck not. But again, somebody has to make it hot. So do I believe you guys will make it hot? Goddamn right. And that's why I'm buying SuperBased. I'm meant to.
It's so funny you mentioned
and I'm not paid to say this shit. Let me clarify that too. Let me clarify. There's been no money exchange, okay? I've given you guys my money. I bought. So, that's the thing. There's going to be somebody who clips this and goes, well, Marc was just paid to say that. Fuck you, okay? Was not.
Yeah.
And even if he was, fuck it.
Hit that Venmo, guys.
But I was going to say, it's funny you bring up Bonk, because when we were going through the decision-making process of NFT, Bonk was mentioned. Shout out to Nam and everyone that's at Bonk. And it was, if someone came up to us, around the time, a month before, 2 months before Bonk was launched and said, we're launching this meme coin on Solana, I probably would have said, you're crazy. Yeah. There's no way it's going to work. There's no meme coins on Solana. There's no market for it. We all know how that played out, but that was part of our decision. And it's like, you kind of just have to do what no one's willing to do, create the market, but you have to do it correctly. You have to make a splash. You have to have great branding. You have to have a good strategy, a good team, good people around you. And so far, so good. But yeah, Bonk was actually something that we discussed. And now look at Bonk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Steve and I had endless conversations around NFTs. And I'm going to be honest, I wasn't super stoked on the idea of an NFT. And then you think of those examples with Nam, like he had just mentioned. And it was like, what? That was like 2 months after FTX. Sorry to bring it up, but it was 2 months after FTX. Meme coins didn't really exist on Solana. There was a couple of them, and it ended up working.
Yeah. And not just working.
Yeah,
massively successful, and arguably I would say changed Solana unlike anything else, because now we have, you know, things like Pump.fun are born as a result of that. Now you have meme coins that run on a regular basis. It's like your ability to make money on Solana is unlike it ever was before. So yeah, I mean, they completely changed the game. So, and I'm looking forward to you guys changing that game. But I want to give a little bit of context to your guys' background. So I want to give each of you a minute to just flex for a second. Talk about the different things that you've done. Kind of give, for people who don't know your journeys, go from like, you know, when you started in the, you know, kind of content slash, you know, entrepreneurship realm of things, and then bring us to real time. So Jakey, start off. Give us a little bit of context.
Yeah. I've been creating content on the internet for well over 10 years. I was heavily inspired by Jackass and the Dudesons. It was like heavily intertwined with like skateboarding culture and like MTV, Rob Dyrdek, all of that. And fresh out of high school, I told my parents I wasn't going to college. I was going to pursue whatever this was, making crazy videos on the internet, skateboarding, stunts, pranks. And I did that for, I don't know, 6-7 years. I got my first post on WorldStar, which went kind of viral. And that was like my first taste of like dopamine and followers. And that point on, I became obsessed with the idea of attention seeking online, I like to call it. It was 2017, I did my first collaboration with the Nelk Boys, who we all know the Nelk Boys are a massive success in this industry when you think about YouTube, just overall domination of the social media game. I was signed to Full Send for a little while with them, didn't really work out, found my way to the crypto sphere just from hearing about NFTs on podcasts. Like the idea of an NFT was attractive to me. Like crypto was kind of like boring in a way, like in terms of like Bitcoin. Started hopping around on NFTs, found my way to Solana, and I've been creating content within the Web3 space ever since, and it's been a lot of fun. And I'm a world record holder.
There it is. So flex it real quick. What's the world record?
I attached 52 clothes pegs to my face in under 1 minute.
How long did it take you to recover from that?
Yeah, dude, I trained hard for that. I don't know. It looked like I got in a fight with a cat. Like, it was pretty difficult. I had to shave my beard and stuff, but it was well worth it.
Damn. Yeah, that's why I don't have a beard either. Shaved it because of all the stunts I've done. Anywho.
This is me adding in the color of things you forget, too. You got a tramp stamp from Steve-O.
Yeah.
You have a mime segment on Instagram that has over 50 million views that they actually used in Jackass that you originated.
That's true. I would say my first form of, like, real virality that I was able to maintain was the mime versus pain. I dress up as a mime. We do painful stuff to me. I can't make a noise. All expressions are formed through my like facial emotion. And Jackass ended up using that exact like idea in their movie. And I made a Facebook post back in 2017. I said, one day I will work with Steve-O. Steve-O was always an inspiration to me. And in 2019, I made that come true. And he gave me a tattoo on my tailbone, known as a tramp stamp. It's my favorite tattoo of all time.
Yeah, it's very hot.
Thank you, Steve.
I'll never forget.
I'll jump in, too, if you need it.
Yeah, there we go. All right, Steve, give us some context about you.
So I started doing content like 2000, or I started understanding content in 2010 when Instagram launched. And I kind of always knew that this is the way that like brands and future companies would start, but also communicate with consumers. And I always kind of just wanted to get into the game, found my way just getting out of the East Coast, getting to LA through a TV show. I'm just mentioning because everyone just finds it and clips it. I'm like, fuck it.
I've seen it like 6 times.
I know. I was on this TV show in 2016 called MTV Are You the One? It is important though, because that's where I met someone named Julia Rose, who I would then go on to found a company called Shag Mag in like late 2018. Shag Mag would go on to become like, I would arguably say like top 10 internet brands of that era, that little window next to like Full Send, Barstool, Friday Beers now. And we did a bunch of cool stuff. Had a digital publication, did close to like $10-15 million in 3.5 years, raised 2 rounds of funding, did the World Series stunt in 2019, did the Holly Boob stunt in 2021.
Wait, what were those 2 stunts for people who don't know?
So in 2019, I put 3 girls behind the behind the home plate World Series, and they flashed, which actually caused a distraction. And Garrett Cole had to actually step off the mound. It went viral because it aired. It was discussed and talked about on Barstool, Joe Rogan, Howard Stern, Ellen DeGeneres. It actually, bucket list item, it actually sent out an Apple News alert for it. Everyone's iPhone's got an Apple News alert for it, which was pretty cool. Donald Trump was at that game. Covered by actually, I actually know this. It was covered by every single major news and media publication besides BuzzFeed, because BuzzFeed sucks. And yeah, that was pretty crazy. And then in 2021, we did the Holly Boob stunt, did that with the Juke Squad. Shout out to the boys. We changed the Hollywood sign. One of 13 teams to change the Hollywood sign successfully. It's on the wiki. We made it say Holly Boob. That was pretty fucking cool. Both of those times we actually raised, because I figured out that raising in what's the word?
Coinciding.
Coinciding or raising in parallel to a stunt really works, because it actually shows you can deliver on like crazy shit, and your investors are seeing headlines while having Google Meets with you or your potential investors. So we did that. Other oddball things, had a great podcast network, featured Snoop Dogg, Jordan Belfort, FaZe Banks, Sean O'Malley, Trevor Wallace, Jack Harlow, Diplo. Some of those names were early. That crushed it. Started an agency at Shag Mag, had great talent there. And then in 2021, we were one of the first actual companies to create an in-house NFT launchpad. So we actually had toplist.shagmag.com, which we launched NFTs off of from our own website. They were ETH. You could connect your wallet. You could actually buy crypto from shagmag.com. And there was a live Discord chat in the corner. Long story short, that ultimately led to another sub-entity, Shagmag Technologies, that actually did stoner cats through our CTO now, Cena. Sorry, this is a mouthful. Cena, who was our CTO at Shagmag, now is our CTO at SuperBased. He spearheaded that project and launched Stoner Cats for Amelia Kunis and Ashton Kutcher. That was a cool little fun side story from Shagmag too. But besides that, there started Shagmag Bets, which is where my brother got started doing a column in Shagmag about sports betting, which now he's the face of Friday Beer Sports Betting, which is pretty fucking cool. And that's, I think, it. Yeah, we actually raised from Founders Fund, or a sub entity, because the board didn't all approve. I don't think Peter Thiel approved. Cyan Bannister led that. Funny story, Founders Fund has actually just led Igloo, Pudgy Penguins' new round of funding at $11 million. Congrats to them.
One more thing that he forgot. In terms of the Web3 space, I don't think people give Steve, and I'm not glazing, enough credit for all the behind-the-scenes work he did in the early days for Solana in general. So I just want to throw that in.
100%. I mean, again, it was like one of those things where I remember meeting Steve at a very, very early on, and we did a scavenger hunt in LA. And then when I met Steve and started realizing how many different things he had his hands in, who he was connected to, everything like that. Like, you two are two of the most connected people I've ever met, not just in Web3, Web2, everything. And your ability to find a way to make a connection with somebody that you want to make a connection with. And I think that's a skill that I don't think can be taught. I think you either have that ability or you don't. And I try to pride myself around that ability too. But like, I've seen you guys iterate on an idea and go, okay, we want to connect with this person. We want to make that happen. Here's our way to do it. Here's our path. Here's our potential problems with this. That's what I love. Like, that's the stuff that gets me excited, because again, when I think about, like, you know, when somebody says to me right now, like, Marc, are NFTs hot or anything like that? I'm like, no, like, let's be real. They're not. But again, does that mean that something can't be successful during times like this? No, I'll never agree that you can't be successful during times like this. I think you have to be really, really creative to be successful during times like that. And if there's two people I know who are incredibly creative, it's you two, because there is no handbook to any of this, right? So when people talk about NFTs, when they talk about crypto, when they talk about any of this stuff, dude, none of this shit makes sense. There's not like there's a trillion factors that lead to what's successful and what's not and things like that. But the people who are the most creative and the people who have the ability to get the name out there in front of everybody, I mean, I think Maanz is a great example of that, right? Like, they literally built a culture around Maanz, and that's the reason why that coin is done really, really well, right? Yeah. There are other coins too. I'm not going to sit here and just name tickers, but like, there are coins that have done that, of capturing attention, and I 100% believe you guys can do that with everything you guys are going to do with SuperBased. So walk us through, like, where did the idea of SuperBased come from? Whose idea was it initially? And what is the goal with SuperBased?
Oh, fuck, where do we start? I mean, like me and Jake always wanted to do something together. It started with like a bunch of shit. But really we did the candy machine thing in Amsterdam, and then we just started traveling together and making content together. Cause it's, you got to figure out how everyone works and like where everyone's at. But it just fit because we both just want to go get it. There's not a lot of people that want to work and push and shoot for the stars.
Be dangerous.
And be dangerous like the way we know to be dangerous. Like we were talking about someone who was previously signed with Full Send and someone who basically started an internet millennial playboy before OnlyFans was even a thing. Like that's two people that like really don't give a fuck about what anyone says, what everyone wants to do. We're just going to carve our own path. And typically, you know, that is usually the most successful path. I mean, everything we know, just talked about Bonk. We just talked about Pudgy and like plushies. I mean, dude, it's all just like, who gives a fuck? We're going to do something that wins. And then, so me and Jake just wanted to create a brand. And to be completely honest, I didn't know I was going to end up back in this genre, but it just worked. I don't know how it really came.
I mean, I remember last summer, Steve and I had like connected, like, I don't know, June or whatever. I was doing this like interview series. And then throughout the summer, I was like having, what's the word? An epiphany, I think, where I was like, dude, I want to do like more than just like the average, like flip NFTs. Dude, you know what I mean? Like I wanted to build like my own thing. I didn't know exactly what that was. So then I came up with an idea of doing like a docu-series, which in the grand scheme of things was kind of a cool idea, but it was too early for something like that, like a docu-series around Solana and the ecosystem. I think it would make more sense now. But anyway, so Steve and I were like bouncing ideas off of that. And then Breakpoint was coming up. He pitched me the idea on the Candy Machine, which was like an interview series that we did in Amsterdam for Solana Breakpoint. And I think after that was like, let's keep the ball rolling, because that was a lot of fun. I, in my opinion, felt like we had done a good job of taking over the timeline in the Solana ecosystem with our content there, having Tolly on, like all of that. So Steve and I were like, well, let's keep the ball rolling. Let's continue to travel together. And so then you know, we did Salt Lake, and then we did NFT New York, where we did the marshmallow thing. Mm-hmm. And all of those like little Cybertruck like stunts, that was more or less just us wanting to create attention and have fun and be dangerous and do what we kind of know best. And I think looking back at that, I was like, well, that was kind of a proof of concept for like something that we were working towards that we didn't really know existed yet, because we didn't have the name SuperBased yet, or at least my timelines might be mixed up, but it was very early still. And so now, like when people would ask me the question, well, why did you have this, you know, OG dress up as Marshmallow and cause this scene in New York City? And I'd always just be like, well, I don't know, I just like attention. I don't know, the video was cool, but now it makes sense. Like the answer was like, well, this is proof of concept for SuperBased, what we were going to inevitably build. So that's how we kind of end up here. I don't know. This was a two-part question.
Yeah, and relaying off that, segueing, whatever. Essentially, as we're doing this, in my head, because I'm kind of getting like deja vu, where I'm like, oh, this feels like the beginning of like right before Shag Mag did in early 2018. Because me and Julia just didn't pop out of the scene and create the magazine. We got on WorldStar. We got on Barstool. At that point, we launched it. We did we launched Manscaped's influencer network and connected Ryan, who's now the VP of marketing there, to every single girl. We created their first national campaign with the beards. That was me and Julia. And then we just kept doing her airplane pick. We ended up, like I said, we ended up on WorldStar. This is what I was going to say. Julia was the most posted person, because we scrolled all the way back, by Barstool ever leading into Shag Mag, because they don't like to just like share tons of other people and other accounts. She was the most posted person or brand or internet personality by Barstool. I think it was like 13 times in like 2 years, and no one was even close. So we knew, okay, this is where we got to go. And working with Jake, it felt like that again. So it's like, okay, we gotta start gearing up to build a brand and start like putting this all under a name and start building a house. And I know that takes a while. It's not an overnight thing. It's a brick by brick thing, but it was time to get it going. And then, yeah, SuperBased just happened.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is that a lot of times like this, I even remember when you guys were doing the marshmallow stunt, and then even before that, doing the stunt with the Cybertruck in Beverly Hills, right?
Yeah,
and it's
we
like,
were there for that.
yeah, it's like, you know, when I was like, what's the reasoning? Is there like something that's being pushed or whatever? You're like, no, just like, why not? And I was like, okay, well, actually, I like the why not attitude of that, right?
Yeah.
And so we did it, and it was awesome, and that day was damn fun. And then watching the content coming out of it, watching Elon Musk respond on Twitter, like all these different things. And attention, we live in an attention economy. So again, I look at it and I go, you know, when people talk about how NFTs break the mold and become massive and how crypto breaks the mold and becomes massive, it's an attention economy. What are you doing to gain that attention? So sure, when Bitcoin rips, Solana rips, sure. Do we breach into that Web 2 realm of things and everything like that? Of course, that's an easy way to do it. Bitcoin goes to 100K, we're going to see everybody talking about it. Mm-hmm. Everybody's going to be a Bitcoin expert at that point, right? Including the people who own 0.00002 Bitcoin, right? Yeah. Yep. But not even talking about you. I'm talking about the people who are like the random dude you went to high school with who's never bought any crypto, but he put $5 in and now it's 10 and he feels rich. Anyhow, the attention economy is massive. And so if you're able to do things that generate that sort of attention that people are looking for, you've done something, right? Mm-hmm. And so with you guys, it's like, again, that's the thing where I love the creative process. I love people that take an idea and they don't just like initially do it. It's like it gets iterated on a ton of times. And then you have the end product. And the end product's always something really cool. I've seen you guys do that with commercials. I've seen you guys do that with stunts. And I'm looking forward to, and I remember when you guys pitched me the idea of SuperBased, you were like, we've done this, 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 we've done this. All of them were to push nothing. What if it's to push SuperBased?
Exactly.
And I was like, damn, okay. Yeah. Like I'm in.
That was the missing component. Even when you talk about take away like the stunt and virality, attention economy aspect, like when Colton and I started doing more of the professional, like commercial side as brand deals or whatever, I remember having the conversation with Colton and I'm like, this is cool for right now, but like, how do you, there's the Jakey and Colton shit, like you can't really scale that. You need it to live under a brand. You need it to have this umbrella where it makes sense, and so that's where like SuperBased came in. And I think honestly, when he had pitched me the idea of SuperBased, that was the part that I was most excited for because it gave Colton and I a way to branch and
100%.
And take it to a different level,
100%. So, okay, first question most people are going to ask is like, what is the SuperBased NFT? Mm-hmm. Is it a PFP project? Is it a, some sort of subscription? Is it, I don't know, I'm going to get random airdrops? Like, is there utility? Like, what can you tell us? What can you not tell us? What are people going to expect? I don't know. I bought pre-sale, so you tell me what am I getting out of that?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to let you because I feel like I'll get in trouble.
No. Just edit it. Cut. No, so at its bare bones, there's two things. I'm going to do the actual, like the dotted line, and then what it is long term. So I'm really going short term versus long term. Short term, the utility of this, we'll call it the utility. I know it's a dirty word now. Is a membership and subscription to SuperBased.com and the brand for 3 years. And then 50% off for life. And I know everyone's like, oh, the off-life thing. We'll have terms. Don't worry. It's going to be raging in the comments. But, so that's what it is. And to put things in perspective, like we're going to be charging for this publication. We're going to be pushing it on Instagram and TikTok. A normal user will be paying $99 a year. And I think I'm going to go with $10 a month. And that's already in the NFT cheaper for the first 3 years. And also for a lifetime if it's 50%. But that's really just at its found ground zero, like at its core, that's what it is. But essentially, when you're looking at SuperBased as a products company and a brand, it's our first product, and that first product is going to give everyone, whether it's access, first dibs, participation, I don't know what it looks like, in everything that we do as a lifestyle and products company, whether it's us collaborating with Supreme or a special merch drop or a party or access or a collaboration. I don't know what it is, but it's betting on two dudes that are going to build something that means something in the world. And hopefully when it does, these two motherfuckers don't forget about the people that believed in them first. And that's really what we want to push to the finish line. And we bring up Supreme a lot because, your average 17-year-old, 22-year-old probably doesn't know Supreme is a skateboarding company. And that's the way we look at SuperBased is we're going to start out as a Solana ecosystem project that launched an NFT, but one day we won't be known for that. What we'll be known for is to be determined. It's what we build through the brand and the products, but we'll get there and we won't forget about the people that believe in our brand first. It's like owning a first Supreme skate deck. Yeah. It's like we're stupid. I was going to say the R word, but I can't.
So is it something where I guess I was going to say, like, are you worried about like floor price? Is that something that like you guys compute or like, I don't know what you
here's the thing. I'm not worried because everything on the internet, especially in our space, meme coin or NFT is about an attention economy. How relevant can you stay? We don't have a product problem with that. And when it comes to building value and delivering on anything that we put our mind to, we don't have a problem with that. So at the end of the day, it's really just ignoring everyone else that's failed at this and saying, these guys know how to stay relevant. They know how to build a brand and a product. As long as we keep delivering and shooting for the stars and constantly innovating and pivoting, well, I don't think we're ever going to have I think we're going to have a problem with not having enough. Yep. We're going to need more products. We might need more NFTs. We might need more things in Web3 to expand like our reach and our audience and our consumers. And we might be able to like turn this thing around and say more is better. Because it's like no one ever got mad that Supreme puts their logo on fucking everything. Yeah. But we want to put our logo on everything. Let's say fuck it.
Yeah.
There's like a science to this NFT stuff. And we've been around for the past 3 years to understand how that kind of operates to a certain degree. Floor price, volume. There's certain things that you can do in order to maintain and like help keep that healthy, but it's going to do its thing. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, we've seen DeGods, we've seen all the projects go through it. Like the market's going to market. Maybe that sounds bearish, but with everything Steve just said, that's kind of my school of thought going into it.
Yeah. And I do think too, part of it is like where my head initially goes to with this is like, am I expecting a quick flip? I think that's the wrong mindset to have with it, right? Like I look at it and I go, again, like why did I buy them? I don't just buy them just because you guys are my boys and things like that. Because to be fair, I'd go poor if I bought every NFT or every random shit coin that somebody sent me or whatever. Like I'd definitely be poor by now. But with that, the reason why I bought is because, again, I believe you guys to bring the attention to SuperBased, and then I know that you guys are smart enough to understand how the space works and how to bring attention to the right things, how to then reward people for being loyal and things like that. And I have no doubt that if you build an incredibly strong community, you can do a lot of great things with that. So, and that's been proven on the internet a trillion times over. So, again, I have no doubt that where that's going to go in terms of like, do I think this is, in my mind, do I go, okay, is this going to 10x overnight and things like that? Again, I don't really worry about that. I think when you look at it like that, you're looking at this like it's a shit coin and not like it's an NFT project that can be so much more than that. You are not paying, the $10,000 for this. It's whatever it is. It's like $100, Yeah. And so again, you have to factor it like that. And then again, I think the people who bought like the OG Playboys for however much money those went for, which I'm sure in today's dollars probably are close to $100, right? Or something along those lines. And those are now collector's editions that are worth a shit ton,
some are worth
right?
a lot of money, like a couple grand.
Yeah. So it's like, again, I think you have to think about it in more ways than just, okay, is this a PFP that I'm going to flip if everybody starts rocking it on Twitter, right? Like, and I think that's where we kind of have to change the mindset of what people think of when it comes to NFTs, because for the most part, people are just like, well, I'm going to buy it, try to flip it, and then if I don't flip it, I'm going to bitch on Twitter and tell them that they're hard rugging.
Yeah, because it's like the problem with most NFTs is that the value is very closed. Where like the value with what we're doing is very open ended.
Yeah,
like I couldn't tell you exactly what every step of the way is going to happen. But like I thought about this the other night. How do you answer this? Like, dude, Shagmag had an NFT from the beginning. 3 years in, that thing would have been fucking heavy. It would have costed bags to get that NFT. Because now I know everywhere along the line of building that brand, what people would have had access to, what they could have participated in. And I know that probably would have meant more then, but it's like a stupid example. It's like we're launching Stoner Cats and we had a Shagmag NFT. they would have had stoner cats.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
And that thing at the time was very expensive. 30, 40, 50 grand NFT. It's like, okay, because we're pushing, we're constantly innovating the brand, we stay cutting edge, we're staying in front of everybody, attention, viral content, collaboration. That's a small example. But it's like, if Shagmag had an NFT, it would have been heavy because we've been doing shit like that constantly. Parties, merch, everything.
When I look at it too, because like Full Send put out their NFT at some point, whatever that was, 2022 or 2023, and the problem with that is when you have people who are not native to Web3 coming in, they don't really know how to drive attention and the right utility and things like that. Like they don't know what people even want. So then coming into that, sure, you're going to do a raise and you're going to get the money that you want and everything like that, but it's inevitably going to die because you don't understand the space. You guys understand the space, and that is the difference to me.
That in Full Send was already established. They were already a multi-million, if not billion-dollar brand, you know, and they came in here, you know,
it was a cash play.
Yeah, I'll tread lightly, but bro, they bagged $23 million, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, it was cool for the first 3 months, then they got bored like the rest of these people that came in that weren't native to the space, bagged a bunch of money, and dipped out. And nothing's going to happen because they already had the community established. It's much different and the reason why I like that you brought that up is because we were on a space today, and that actually got brought up, was like the Full Send card, because I think people were comparing it, but it's like, it's much different because Steve and I have been here for the past 3 years, you know? Like, This is, people like to call it from the trenches, like, SuperBased is not popping. It's not a brand yet. It's not worth anything yet. It's being built from the ground up in the Solana ecosystem. That's like the biggest difference between, and I think Full Send had a great idea. I think with the meta card and it being membership based and some of the ideas that they had were cool. It's a different ball game.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and it's like we just talked about with Supreme. It's like when you're native, it's like some other random company or person trying to come into skating that has nothing to do with skating. Never skated in their life. I mean, Jesse skates, but still, terrible example. But like no one from Nelk Boys had any association with Web3, and they came in and launched a product. Like that's never going to work.
Yeah, 100%.
They're not from the industry, so it doesn't make sense.
100%. And I think that's one of the issues that, again, like Web 2 companies trying to come into Web 3 and do the thing, it's really difficult to actually know how to be successful. So sure, most of those are going to die. And even though I'm sure plenty of those people have great intentions, but if you have no idea what you're doing coming into a space, I mean, I had somebody the other day, I'm not going to mention who, but like a Web 2 celebrity contacted me and was like, hey, my group chat's talking about us doing a meme coin. What are your thoughts on this? And I was like, if you would like to crater your reputation, then go for it. And I was like, but here's what I wouldn't do. That. And I was like, your exact screenshot of what you just sent me, don't do any of that. And I was like, what I would do though is buy some Solana. I'll tell you some meme coins that you can get into that are already established, already doing well. Start learning and then figure out maybe down the road if you want to do something. But for right now, what you just sent me, that whole idea, you don't do any of that, and probably never talk to that person who suggested that idea again, because they are trying to ruin your reputation. It wouldn't affect them. So, and it, was not Sahil, somebody else. Other people getting in the trenches.
And that's a good example as well, because like we want SuperBased, because the biggest missing piece also to everything you just said is that there isn't a collaboration brand. Like the way that Louis Vuitton, Gucci, North Face all got into streetwear was through Supreme. Supreme held the keys at the gate to streetwear. And because of that, they built the brand that they did. That doesn't exist in Web3. We thought Artifact was going to be it, but I don't blame them for selling, but they sold. They were a unicorn way too quick, like a hyper unicorn, and they're out. And then once you get bought, everyone knows the music dies, because like you need those founders in there that have that grit and that vision, and they're hungry from the inside out. It's not just a line on a balance sheet and dollar signs, which is what happens when something gets bought. So now there's this massive void in the marketplace for someone that can, be the gatekeeper of cool shit in Web3. Because we know that there's going to be the whole ETF, BlackRock, trader bro side. But there needs to be something cool. There needs to be something from the streets. The same way, like, you skateboard again. There's people street skating LA getting chased by security guards, but it's also in the Olympics. It's two sides of the same coin. And it's like, that's what we want to do. There's going to be serious companies like Helios and Jupe and Cube that all do these things at a very, very professional level. Not that we won't, but there needs to be edgier brands, like the way Vice was, like the way Supreme was, like the way Full Send was, that kind of set the tone. And we're kind of the gatekeeper that opens the doors for a lot of these other very buttoned up corporate companies to get into Web 2 and retail. Like that's why FTX, hate to bring them up, used Tom Brady and Steph Curry, because that was the easiest way to plug themselves into our reality. Buying a basketball stadium, I wonder why, because the NBA is culture. Like it's a massive part of culture. So if you put your name on an NBA stadium, you're automatically a part of culture. That's what it did.
100%.
Long story short. So.
Yeah, 100%. And I think too, I mean, again, it's like, you know, when people talk about a lot of this, it's like, again, it's like you guys aren't blind to the criticism that NFTs receive right now, right? And so I look at a lot like Shark Tank. When you watch Shark Tank, if you pay attention to those, and or honestly, you know, real life venture capitalists working with, you know, entrepreneurs and whatnot, when you invest into a company, you are investing into the entrepreneur. You're not investing into the brand. You're not investing into the idea. You're investing into the entrepreneur. So if somebody's looking at this and going, okay, what they describe as SuperBased, maybe I don't see it. Maybe I don't see it, right?
Yep.
That's fair. That's fair. If you have that thought process, again, I'm not going to critique anybody on that. But do they believe in you two? Because if they believe in you two, then they believe that if it doesn't work, that you guys will pivot and pivot to the right thing. And I think that's the biggest thing that I think about when it comes to all of this of like, again, does somebody have the ability to take an idea, make it come to fruition, and then if the idea does not work, do they have the smarts to understand the space in order to figure out where to pivot? And that's with you guys. I have 1,000% belief in you two. Yeah. And so that's something where, again, I think to people who are buying into this and everything like that, if you don't believe in the idea of SuperBased, if you don't understand it, if some of the things that we've mentioned in terms of Full Send and Nelk and you know, Shagmag and all these other different people that we've mentioned, Barstool, whatever, if you don't get all of that, but they believe in you two, then that should be enough. You know what I mean? Like that's the way I look at it, because again, NFTs will have their time and place. NFTs, people are going to make NFTs popping again. But in order to do that, we also have to do things that are a little outside the walls right now. And again, like we can't just go back to everything being a damn 10K PFP collection. Like we've got to start thinking outside the walls. We've got to start thinking of new things. And again, you guys are two of the most creative people that I know. And again, I've seen that. I've seen that a trillion times over. So when people say to me like, Mark, why are you supportive and stuff like that? Literally, somebody messaged me the other day and they're like, what's your role on the team? And I was like, on what? And they were like, SuperBased. And I was like, I don't work for them. I was like, those are just my boys. Like, I was like, I'm supporting it because I believe in them. And like, they're my boys. I've seen them work. I've worked with them. Like, I've seen the way their minds work. So yes, I'm going to bet on those two people because I believe in them. Simple.
Boom.
Yeah. So,
but no, you made a good point there. Like, I don't know. Like that's the thing. Like, because we're going to start raising a round of funding after the mint, and that's going to be the hardest thing for us. Is it different than it was 4 years ago? Or 4 years ago now, when I was raising for Shagmag, like content wasn't sexy. There was no middle ground for content. Thank God for Barstool, because Barstool kind of paved the way. People slept. That's why Dave Portnoy is so fucking filthy rich, because he deserves to be, because people slept on content for so long. Crazy got people. Dude who started OnlyFans owns like literally 90+% of the company. Dave Portnoy owns 90+% of his company, because people, for some reason, discount news and media brands, content media brands, because they're not as sexy as tech companies. Because tech companies have clear ROI, the numbers make sense, and VCs love them because they also can churn them and burn them. People are always buying tech companies. No one's really buying news and media companies because the middle ground sucks. CoinDesk sucks. Like, why do you think ESPN's dead? They're getting their lunch eaten by Barstool. Barstool's worth a fucking $1 trillion because no one on the internet knows how to do shit.
Yeah, like, CoinDesk sucks.
Dude, all the newspaper companies are fucked. Blockworks, fucked. Are all fucked. Because they suck. You know why? Because they don't understand. Like, literally go on CoinDesk, it looks like Daily fucking Mail. It's been, 3 years? Maybe 5? Like, it's fucked. It's like, it's because no one knows how to create content, virality, and market awareness the way that, look at fucking Dave Portnoy. He could adopt a dog. Now he owns dogs. That's not an accident. That's calculated fucking just genius. And like, all these little stunts we do, it's why I believe in people to do stunts. That's what we're going to do with SuperBased. We're going to eat the lunch of every single news and media company and and people forget, like outside of the oil companies, you look at companies like Disney. I know I hate to bring them up, but news media, Comcast, NBC, all them Fox, they're all the biggest companies in the world outside of oil because they control the attention. I think there's a new day and age for media companies. Thank God, because of Barstool. Because they're like, fuck, that one just got somehow swept under the rug. And like podcasts, merch. Dude, they control sports. There's a Barstool Bowl, dude. Good for them.
And they doubled down.
They did, dude.
They doubled down when majority of them went the other way. They doubled down on exactly what they wanted to present, the audience they wanted to create, the culture they wanted to curate.
Yep.
And that's why Barstool is Barstool. And that's why, when's the last time you went to World Stars page or anything? Because they couldn't fit the mold anymore.
I really think that's the best example. We use so many examples, but when you think of Barstool, like Barstool, the Barstool Blackout Tour, and they started. Barstool Smoke Shows was one of the biggest Instagram accounts out the gates with chicks. Same shit we're doing. Barstool had the blogs. They started the podcast. They tested so much shit.
Rough and rowdy, dude. Backyard fights. Like, I can't remember the last time back in the Kimbo Slice era, Jorge Masvidal, that was like backyard fights. They brought them back. Rough and rowdy. Can you name another backyard fights program or whatever you call promotion? Not that it's popping, but I'm just saying, like, they got their hands in the pots.
No, but it's not. The whole point is that it doesn't need to be popping. But at the time, it was, and it did its job for Barstool. Yeah. That's why it's so hard to like sit here and say, what are we going to do? And you double down on it. It's like, just trust the people. Because as long as they know how to stay relevant in at any given moment, it's like you're a winner until you're a loser. It's like, as long as you keep staying relevant, that's all that fucking matters. And we're as good as our next act. And that's what me and you've always focused on.
Yeah. It's
like, if you think we're sitting here going, oh yeah, we just sold out our pre-sale, did a little viral thing, kind of useless like, everyone's got them. Dude, we're already thinking September, we're already thinking December, we're already thinking Q1 of 2025.
Yep.
Because like the music never dies, and that's how, like I told him, it's the Shag Mag all over again, dude. It's what we did. Next thing you know, you wake up and fucking, you know, you got meetings with Scooter Braun, Paris Hilton's VC network, Founders Fund, Snoop Dogg's in the fucking magazine. And it's like, where the fuck are we? But like, job's not finished still.
No, now it's exciting.
It is exciting.
Because there's like, even I think I've had so many ideas, dude, like from when I started doing this, like senior year of high school. If I could just get the resource, if I could just get the funding, I promise this would work. Whether it was just for entertainment aspect or for a brand or whatever, like if I could just land that deal and have them give me the resources, I promise this would be a successful, viral, marketing, entertaining campaign for them. And now it's like, we get to do it with SuperBased and it's ours, you know? It's like one of those things where it comes full circle and it's exciting. And this is like, where the music kind of starts.
There it is. Why don't you read some of the tweets that people have commented on there? You put out a tweet earlier, basically saying that you were coming on the podcast. What questions do people have and things like that? There were a few questions that I thought were good. There were a few that were pretty stupid. So
it's like 10%. Yeah. Right on.
Yeah. So okay, some of the good ones.
Some random ones. Why is there 2 Ds? I don't know. I don't care.
Double Ds.
I mean, like everyone goes, oh, double Ds. I just do it because it's one of those things that's like, I don't know.
It's cool.
It's just like when you look at a brand is really just art. Why is there I don't fucking know.
Dude, it was like, you know what it is? It's like, I don't know, it's like unique. It looks cool. You go and look back at, I'm sure at least someone watching this was back in like the Call of Duty days, FaZe Clan SOAR. FaZe Clan spelt their wording capital F, lowercase a, capital Z, lowercase e, and that started like a whole wave. Every Call of Duty team now did that exact thing. It was capital then lowercase, capital then lowercase. It's like it's like little things, but you realize, and it's like, oh, they started like a trend, like just in that little niche part of the internet. And so I don't know, add the double D's. Next thing you know, everybody's adding double letters on.
It's got more emphasis to me. So yeah, I like.
There you go.
I don't know. It just looks good too. I don't know. And then there's double D's. A POG actually asks, how often will there be issues? First of every single month. How many articles? Usually 5 to 7, but will depend. Events driven from NFTs. Yes, of course. We plan on having the best fucking events in Web3. Will Marc? No shit. He might.
That's debatable. That's debatable. Wait, by the way, this is almost the anniversary of 4 days. It'll be the anniversary of whatever you think you don't know. Well, when I first started getting shit for that statement. That
you gotta have like a celebration.
Well,
wait. 4 days?
Well, 4 days from now is the anniversary of season 3 of DeGods. So that was when I started catching shit for that video. I wasn't catching shit for it previously.
What day is it? So would that be Thursday?
No, that would be Friday.
Damn.
We should timestamp this. One day in the future, we're gonna do a collaboration, maybe with DeGods, on that day, and we're gonna put billboards in LA of Marc going, "Yeah, you don't know shit," and that's gonna be the name of the drop. The collection's gonna call "You Don't Know Shit."
Yeah, that's it, dude.
That's gonna be SuperBasedd DeGods.
Are you okay with that, Marc?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Honestly, that video turned into changed the way that I made content afterwards. When I realized I had become a meme. I realized that the intention of that video was not anything that deep. We put out that video at 2 o'clock in the morning because Frank had me come over. He's talking to me about everything that they were doing. He's like, give me your honest thoughts, blah, blah. We create that video. The video goes out. It gets traction and things like that. Didn't go as crazy as people would think. Then that season 3 launches a month and a half later. That video resurfaces. That video has way different context to it than it did previously, right? And I realized at that moment, okay, you've become a meme. And for good reason. I understand it. I'm not dumb. I understand. Yeah, I understand that. So I was like, you know what? Lean into it. Let me become a meme. At that point, that's when I hit up Sol Casino. I hit up TG over at Sol Casino. I was like, dude, let me just make some I've become a meme. Let's lean into it. Let me make these NFL, talking about these NFL games, give my picks, stuff like that. We leaned into it super heavy. We drove millions of views last NFL season from just literally me just yelling at a camera with a robe on, a chain, sunglasses, whatever. Leaned into that. Now, I get reposts and stuff like that of screenshots from those videos all the damn time. Phantom interns got all kinds of screenshots from those that he uses. Great. Again, it's branding.
Exactly what Marc is saying. This is the secret sauce that I think people don't fully realize, and I can give multiple proof cases. Embarrass yourself on the internet. Because I promise if you do it properly, the girl on the airplane, remember? That motherfucker is not real. She's probably a millionaire. She leaned it. Hawk Tua. Be a meme. Why do you think I went on a date with Caitlyn Jenner? It's for the memes, dude. You have to lean into that shit, dude.
I thought that was for love. Damn it.
Well, that too.
No, but honestly, even Rasmer ends his videos with "Follow me, or you're gonna get liquidated." Whatever. That was actually a solid impression on my end. But
I will say this because I'm a student of the internet game. Being highly calculated and creating something that's really cool and influential is very different than being a meme. Sometimes they intersect, but being a meme is a way riskier bet because sometimes. Just doesn't happen.
Well, yeah, and it can if you've got no substance.
Like Dan Daniel, gone.
Right.
If it wasn't for OnlyFans, Catch Me Outside, How About That chick would be gone.
Yeah. Listen, majority of what I just said was kind of satire, but there was truth to it.
Being a meme is a great launch pad. Not a business.
If you have awareness, you have to have awareness in order to determine where to take it from there. But again, I go back to I think, Rasmer putting that in his videos, the whole follow me and get liquidated. Yesterday when the market was tanking, Ansem tweeted out, this is all because we didn't follow Rasmer. And I was like, low-key hilarious, right?
Okay, so that's what
that's where I was bringing that back up, right? And so again, I think it's it's something where you lean into certain things, all of that. And I think you two are very smart people in order, you guys know what to lean into, what not to, and I think there's an awareness that takes that from one level to the whole nother level, because I do think when you do certain things, it's impossible to know the reaction to it. You have an idea, but you don't know until it happens. So when we've done various different things, I love watching you guys in terms of okay, here's the idea. Okay, we iterate on the idea. Idea gets launched. Okay, idea has reaction like this. Okay, cool. Now here's an idea off that. Here's an idea off that. Here's an idea off that. And that's the true secret sauce of it. It's not the initial idea. The initial idea is the ingredients to a cake. But to build the cake, you got to see how everything's kind of tasting together, right?
Exactly. And I hate to bring it up because I feel but it just makes sense because it's something that we did within the crypto sphere. But it's the marshmallow thing in New York. our job was to get Elon Musk's attention again. We wanted that retweet. We had already gotten the reply. We wanted the retweet. But then the day before we were about to do it, I said we should put a marshmallow mask on whoever ends up playing the DJ. It was just a little thing I threw in there. It wasn't supposed to be.
Nope.
And so we do that. We don't get Elon Musk's attention, but then we check Twitter, an hour later, and now Marshmallow's threatening to sue. So now it's like, okay, no more
bingo.
Elon. Bingo. No more Elon Musk. We didn't get what we wanted there, or we hadn't at that very moment. We're leaning into the Marshmallow lawsuit.
Now there's Twitter Spaces about it.
Yeah. So then you go in that direction, right? So it's like it's exactly what you just said, just with an example.
It's like the first totem pole of figuring out if you did something good in Twitter, or one of the KPIs is there an active Twitter space with a decent amount of people or multiple talking about what the fuck you just did?
Yeah.
That's number one.
100%.
Bing.
Ding, ding.
All right, what other questions we got on there?
Dude, they're not a lot of good ones because some of we answered. Is NFT just a subscription, or do you have other plans for it? Definitely have other plans for it. Those plans, don't know, because like you guys heard in the rest of the podcast, we're going to do it. So, yeah, no, I think that's pretty much it. I think we answered a bunch, but yeah, jump in.
No, I don't have any. I just have to pee so bad.
Well, we'll wrap it up here in a second. I think this is.
I think we should be doing this. We should just do our update every time with Marc, like quarterly. This is like we should just do this for our. Could you imagine? Side note, could you imagine? Because we have investors, you have to send them a quarterly update.
We do.
What if we sent our quarterly update private link every quarter, and it's Marc interviewing us about how the company's doing?
Low-key.
That would honestly go down as like one of those like legendary tales of like a company. They're like, do you know they sent out their quarterly updates as a podcast?
That's actually gangster.
Low-key, love that.
Fuck
idea.
yeah, dude.
Love
no one's ready for this shit.
Cooking. Okay, so here's how. Let's wrap it up with this. Why don't we give the 30 seconds the biggest reason why people should be bullish on SuperBased? Steve started off and we'll end it with Jakey.
Oh man. All right, give me like 5 seconds.
Yeah, no worries. I just put you on the spot.
Wait, say the question one more time. Sorry.
Why should somebody be bullish on SuperBased?
I think someone should be bullish on SuperBased because they're bullish on us. And what I mean by that is that they're going to fall in love and understand how we are, our vision, how much we care, way before they understand what SuperBased is. SuperBased is just a derivative of the lifestyle, the energy, and the persistence towards a dream that me and him are going to put together. And that's the lifestyle it is. The same way if you wear Nike, you're an athlete. If you drive a Lamborghini, you're rich. If you're SuperBased, you are a fucking dope-ass, authentic, real motherfucker. And that's what the brand we want to build, who doesn't give a shit about people say. You're a good person, and you're going to do things and live your life to the fullest, not give a fuck what people think or have to say about you. You're going to be authentic, unapologetic, and genuine. That's what being fucking SuperBased is. Damn. And that's why people are going to love this brand, because it's going to start with people first, then a product. That's what I have to say.
Dude.
You got to follow that up.
Bro.
Yeah. I'm ready to run through a wall.
Everything Steve just said. Dude, I don't really know how to follow that up with the pep talk that he just gave. That was like David Goggins, on a podcast. But no, content is king, and we're going to have a lot of fun. And if you're bullish on having fun, that's what we're going to do.
There it is.
Dude, I mean, no, I couldn't even follow. I don't know what happened. I blacked out.
That's fair. Hey, that happens. It happens on this podcast. It's happened before. So, yeah, no, I appreciate you guys coming on. I know it's a big week. I'm looking forward to and I don't even want to call it a big week. It's a big start of the journey. That's the way I look at it. Like, I know this is something that you guys are going to put your all into, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how it grows and develops and everything like that. We'll keep running these on a regular basis and all of that. But
quarterly for our investors.
100%. So, yeah, with that, let's let the good times begin, boys.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Marky.
There we
Thanks,
go.
Marc.
Well, appreciate everybody tuning in, and looking forward to SuperBased. And
if you have any more questions, put them in the comments. If you have anything you guys want to know more, put them in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe Marc's podcast. Follow him on Twitter. There you go. Peace.
There it is. See you guys.